Okay, so here's the thing we're not considering.
Okay.
We're always like, Selena can't be the best assassin. What if all the other assassins legitimately suck?
And we're back for our third. This is our third reading session in a row. Not third chapter.
Unfortunately.
It's still the same chapter. It is still chapter 44, part 3. If you thought you'd missed it, no, you haven't. It's still going. So here we are. A reminder for those who may have forgotten. Happens to the best of us. Last section, we ended off. We had our fight with the beast. They just freeze it, chop it up into little bits. There's some unbelievable stuff. There's lots of word soup. Not as bad as chapter 14, but definitely word soup. And then it ends with Selena being like, all right, Dorian, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. So that's where we're going. Selena went first because Dorian desperately needed to change his filthy tunic, and talking seemed like a good idea while he stripped naked in his dressing room.
Man, they really are showing holes and showing his. God damn.
Oh, yeah. She sat on his bed, not looking much better herself, which was why they'd taken the dark servant's passage back to his tower. Beneath the library stretches an ancient dungeon, I think, Selena said, trying to keep her voice as soft as possible. She caught a gleam of golden skin through the half-open door to his dressing room. Beautiful, golden, suntanned skin. Despite it being wintered. So you know what? Maybe he isn't white.
He's
golden. He's golden.
I'd love to be wrong.
I'd love to be wrong, too. I'd take it back, but I'd also then say, why did it take so long for this to come up? Half-open door of his dressing room and looked away. So shy. I think someone kept the creature in there until it broke out of the cell. It's been living under the library ever since. No need to tell him that she was starting to believe the king had created it. The clock tower had been built by the king himself, so he had to know what it connected to.
So the clock tower isn't the key, because he built it.
I guess so, yes. He could have built it with the key, though.
Oh, okay.
The suggestion is he has a key.
Yeah.
And you know what? Turning your key into the clock tower, that is cool.
I turned it into the thing that everyone looks at, but nobody sees.
You just tune out.
Is it everyone sees, but nobody looks at?
Everybody sees, but nobody looks at. Everybody hears, but nobody listens. The clock tower. All right, let's keep going. She knew the creature had been made because in its chest had been a human heart. Its body, you've already said, was a human body that had been changed. You don't need to say, it's got a human heart. This is human.
Oh, she said hadn't been made. I thought you said had been made.
No, she knew that the creature had been made. Because it had a human heart in the chest.
Made in a uterus like everyone else, okay? Even more. Yeah, King Brandon, he didn't assemble it. He just popped it out of the bronze skull uterus over that one.
Oh, I was definitely interpreting that as Mort was a person once and he got turned into this.
Oh, maybe that's true. King Mammon or whatever his name was like, oh my gosh, Mort, you're so annoying. Come into my basement. Come into my
parlor.
Now come into my basement.
You are the basement now.
Come into my parlor. Come into my parlor. No, come into my parlor.
Selena was willing to bet that the king had used at least one weird key to make both tower and monster. That's a big bet, Selena. Oh, it's a big bet. Go and put your money where your mouth is.
Put our pox on both.
I don't understand, Dorian said from the dressing room. We know he's in the dressing room, girly. Is why this thing can now break through the iron door.
What I don't understand is why now.
What I don't understand is why this thing can break through the iron doors when it couldn't before. Because I was an idiot and broke the spell on them when I walked through.
No, well, that's because they don't know. They don't know that it was already coming out.
No, she knows she saw it in the library. She called it out. Because you know what the next line is? A lie, M dash, sort of. But she didn't want to explain. Girl, you need to explain. Couldn't explain why the creature had been able to break out before and never hurt anyone until now.
Why?
It was just a peaceful creature.
Yeah. He came in and threw off its
Having
wings,
hungry thoughts.
He was angry, okay? God forbid, who has never been angry in their life?
Yeah. Why it had been in the hallway that night and disappeared. Why the librarian was alive and unhurt. But perhaps the man that the creature had once been, ellipsis, perhaps he hadn't been entirely lost. There were so many questions now, so many things left unanswered because you killed it. And that last spell you did, M dash on the door? It'll keep forever? Well, until her blood disappears. And with all these bugs hanging about, that won't take long. Dorian appeared in a new tunic and pants, still barefoot. The side of his feet felt strangely intimate.
But hey, feet is actually a euphemism.
OMG, it's exactly what you were saying. So really, he walked out with, like, assless, frontless pants. I'm not sure what to call this.
He walked out wearing assless chaps. And we all know chaps never have a crotch anyways. So.
When she said new pants, it was definitely a new style.
She meant Emperor's new pants. He is the crown prince after all.
Yes. That's really good. It felt strangely intimate. She shrugged, fighting the urge to wipe her bloody, filthy face. Because she wants to be beautiful. Also, it's itchy. It's itchy, girl.
Sticky,
clean that off. It's getting dry and peeling. No need to sit with that discomfort. He'd offered her his private bath, but she'd refused. That felt too intimate, too. The book says it's a permanent binding spell, so I don't think anyone but us will be capable of getting through. Well, anyone else who smudges the mark will get through, too.
So bloody
Unless the king wants to get in and uses one of the word keys.
So convenient, so convenient.
Yeah. Dorian ran a hand through his hair, sitting down beside her on the bed. Where did it come from? I don't know, she lied. Literally, you already said it was living on there. That's where it came from. Unless he means more like original sin, where did it come from?
It came from my wiggle.
The king's ring flashed in her memory. That couldn't be the word key, though. Yellowlegs had said they were slivers of black rock, not forged into shapes.
Not black.
You can take a shiver. You look. It was a shiver. It was a sliver of black rock, big sliver. You cut the big sliver into smaller slivers. You got more word keys, more of them. Slightly diminished in power because they're smaller. You still need all of them to open that word gate. But now you've got a lot more discrete sources of power. It's how we're slowly creating electricity.
Especially if your interest actually isn't in the world gate. You just want free power.
Literally, wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be cool if it's like the evil king is trying to use it for something else, like trying to repurpose it?
You're gonna open a world gate! What's a world gate?
What's a word gate? Laser.
Laser. You're fired.
You're fired.
You're fired. Yeah, but it's like, I don't even know what this world gate is. Like, I just want electricity. I just want free power. I just want energy.
I would like power to fuel my army of humans. Not looking for anything else here.
Yeah, crossing land.
We're gonna have steam-powered boats. Steam-powered.
Oh, you don't need that for steam power. But once we have steam power, then we'll use this to make rock power.
No, it's gonna be steam-powered. You're just gonna use a little piece of word key.
Oh,
it's gonna steam all it. Unlimited
so
range.
Nuclear.
Yeah, basically. It's nuclear steam power.
Man.
All these potentials left to rot. Yellow Lynx had said that they were slivers of black rock, not not forged into shapes. So she didn't say it, so therefore it can't be that. But he could have made the ring using the keys. She understood now why Archer and his society both coveted and sought to destroy it. If the king could use it to make creatures, ellipsis, if he could make more, ellipsis, also weak, watered down, one ring looking key.
Not
there had been
everything's connected to Tolkien, darling.
You say that. You say that.
You say that as if you weren't thinking about the Silmarils when you were talking about the 3 word keys. Just saying.
You say that as if Tolkien didn't do a number.
On fantasy?
On fantasy.
I don't know, maybe we should just let him lie.
Let him lie?
You know, what people be doing these days has him spinning in his grave. You can feel a whole steamboat with how he's spinning. But...
Could feel a whole steamboat across to a new continent?
You know, I am just letting words come out of my mouth. Let's just keep reading, good?
There had been so many doors, well over 200, all locked. And both Kaltain and Nehemia had mentioned wings, wings with their dreams, wings flapping through the Ferian Gap. What was the king brewing there?
Nefarian Gap?
Yes.
Nefarian?
The Ferian.
Yay.
Like the nefarious gap.
Probably more like the fairy gap. Ferian.
Ferian.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what that
Furian? Ferian? Tell me, Dorian pressed. I don't know, she lied again, hating herself for it.
Oh, she's so
How could she make him
tormented.
understand a truth that might shatter everything he loved? That book, Dorian said. How did you know it would help? I found it one day in the library. It seemed to, ellipsis, trail me. It showed up in my rooms when I hadn't brought it there. It reappeared in the library. It was full of those kinds of spells. That's the kind of book that I would say, don't you dare use. Don't you dare use that book.
Clearly you aren't,
But it's
a
not
country
magic.
famous assassin, huh?
Clearly, Dorian said, pelling. Not the magic you have. This is different. I don't even know if that spell would work. Speaking of which, she said, meeting his eyes, you have, ellipsis. Her eyes looked down. Magic.
You have big feet.
Big feet. It didn't say her eyes looked down. It just said, you have, ellipsis, magic. He scanned her face, and she quelled the urge to fidget. What do you want me to say? Tell me how you have magic, she breathed. Tell me how you have it, and the rest of the world doesn't. Tell me how you discovered it and what manner of magic it is. Tell me everything. Like we're just the girlies talking.
Tell me everything.
No, see, Maas didn't put periods between each word, so I know that's not how she wanted me to read it. He started to shake his head, but she leaned forward. You just saw me break at least a dozen of your father's laws. You think I'm going to turn you over to him when you could just as easily destroy me? Dorian sighed. After a moment, he said, a few weeks ago, ellipsis erupted. I got so mad at a council meeting that I stormed out and punched a wall, and somehow the stone cracked, and then the window nearby shattered too. Since then, I've been trying to figure out where it came from, what kind of power it is exactly, and how to control it. But it just, ellipsis happens, like, like when you used it to stop me from killing Kaol. His neck bobbed and he swallowed hard. As he swallowed hard, she couldn't meet his stare as she said, Thank you for that. If you hadn't stopped me, ellipsis, no matter what had happened between her and Kaol, no matter what she had felt for him, if she had killed him that night, there would have been no coming back from it, no recovering. In some ways, ellipsis, in some ways, she would have had to write her will again, what a pain. It might have made her into just another version of that thing in the library. How dramatic, how melodramatic. It made her sick to even think about it. No matter what your magic might be, it saved more lives than his that night. Dorian shifted. I still need to learn to control it. Or else it might happen anywhere, in front of anyone. I've gotten lucky so far, but I don't think that luck will last.
Me dealing puberty.
My goodness.
Don't worry, Dorian. You've just gotten puberty too.
Puberty's back. And this time.
It's not Kusa fucking around.
It's not Puba fucking around.
Pew. Pew pew. Pew 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 pew.
Does anyone else know? Kale? Roland? No. Kale doesn't know. And Roland just left with Duke Parrington. Married to Duke? He's married to Duke Parrington?
Woo!
Caltaine. Caltaine's the third, actually. It's all three of them. They're going to Moroth for a few months, too. Ellipsis, to oversee the situation in Ailway. It all had to be tied together. The king, the magic, Dorian's power, the word marks, even the creature. The prince went to his bed and hoisted up the mattress. Isn't she on the bed?
I hoisted her up too.
Pulling out a concealed book. Not the best hiding place, but a valiant effort. Girl, where would you have put it otherwise? In the bookshelf.
Of all the other books, so it would just blend in?
Yeah. I've been looking through the genealogical charts of Aderlin's noble family. We've hardly had any magic users in the past few generations. Once again, we said they're cooking the books.
No, I forgot we did say that.
There were so many things she could tell him, but if she did, it would just result in too many questions, because she can't ever actually collaborate with anyone. So Selena merely studied the pages he displayed for her, flipping through one after another. Wait, she said. The puncture wounds in her shoulder gave a burst of pain. They're in her shoulder again. When she lifted her hand to the book, she scanned the... Use your other hand, girl. She scanned the page he'd stopped on, her heart pounding as another clue about the king and his plans slipped into place. She let him continue. See? Dorian said, closing the book. I'm not quite sure where it comes from. Oh, good heavens, we've made it. He was still watching her warily. She met his gaze and said quietly, 10 years ago, many of the people people I loved were executed for having magic. Pain and guilt flickered in her eyes, but she went on. So you'll understand when I say that I have no desire to see anyone else die for it, even the son of the man who ordered those deaths. I'm sorry, he said quietly. How is this about me again? So what do we do now? Eat a giant meal, see a healer, take a bath. In that order.
Wait, did she talk about the people who had magic who killed her? Was that real?
She said, people I loved were executed for having magic. Yep.
Oh, okay.
He snorted and playfully nudged her with the knee. She leaned forward, clasping her hands between her legs. We wait. We keep an eye on that door to make sure no one tries to open it. And, ellipsis, just take it day by day. He took one of her hands in his own, staring out the window. Day by day. And that is the end of the chapter. At long last. At long last. Atlassian. Okay, do I have takeaways from the chapter as a whole? Now, these are things I said in previous takeaways. Word soup. It was a bit of a mess. We don't know where people are quite situated, what they're doing, what the descriptions are really trying to accomplish. Convoluted. We had some great chatter. Like our discussion about cutting the keys down into smaller keys, more keys, excellent. The suggestion that why can't the king be trying to use these word keys for like totally different purpose? So like not at all with like opening the word gates or whatever. Cool. Do I think it'll happen? No. But that's cool. Yeah. Overall, it was more word soupy than other chapters. It was incredibly long. It kept switching back and forth between POVs a lot, which sometimes made it hard to keep track of whose POV we were on. So that was rough.
This is true.
And, yeah. Yeah, those are my main takeaways. The description of prying open the chest cavity when you've cut the body in half, prying it open with a sword so that you can see the heart. One, either you're lifting that chest cavity up to see down into it, or you're getting on the ground to see into it. Because if you're not, like, opening up the rib cage, You can't pry the chest open wide enough to see that heart. Those are my takeaways. And you, my dear?
Mr. Grinch, you're a bad, bad fellow with your heart so black and your teeth all yellow.
Is that the creature? Because it had yellow teeth?
Yeah.
Probably a black heart?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Man, I just look forward to being done with this book.
Touche. As do we all.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Goodbye, everyone.